me on drums.
It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us.
Welcome to Talking Knocks, presented by the PewterCast. I am your host, Brent Allen. I am joined here live with me, my co-host, Ren Dax, who is with me all the time. We are here at the beautiful Walt Disney World Resort. Okay, we're not quite at the resort.
No,
We're a few miles off, but we're like right there.
We're in Cinderella's castle.
Yeah,
in the secret room.
We're right there. We are in the lobby of the Hampton Inn and Suites. Shout out to my girl Carla behind the desk over there, who gave us permission to broadcast right here from the lobby. So we might have some people walking through. We just got to watch Hard Knocks here in the lobby,
We did.
and so that's what we got. This is Talking Knocks. This is going to be a call-in show. So we got a bunch of you guys listening in. We are broadcasting live at mixler.com/thepewtercast. This is our instant cast platform. We use the same platform during the season to be able to do a similar type of show after each game. Listeners can call in after each game. You can tell us your thoughts on the game, what went well, what didn't go well, what stood out to you, how you feeling about the game. Kind of a lot. As far as I know, it's the only live instant reaction show that you can call in and interact. Like there's a couple other
In the universe.
at least in the Buccaneers universe.
For sure.
So, but this is that same platform. So shout out to everybody listening. I do want to take a moment just to remind everybody, this is a PG-13 show. This is not Bucs Uncensored. So we like for people to be able to listen, with their kids in the car.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
so
I
yeah.
mean, we go about one F-bomb per all of our shows.
Well, that's PG-13,
right,
Yeah.
and that's saved just for us.
Yeah. So, we'll do that. Javier in the chat room says he's going to bring some stick carrier stigmas over here.
Sweet, do it.
Oh, he's breaking some stick carrier stigmas. Oh, they're talking about daylight savings, how Javier is actually in the same time zone. They just don't have daylight savings time where he is. So
Invented by the Russians.
yeah. So, hey, bunch of new people jumping into the chat room. So shout out to everybody there. Guys, here's the deal. If you want to call in and talk about Hard Knocks, we just got to see Hard Knocks.
I know.
We just got to see it on HBO.
I know.
That's our beloved Buccaneers.
It was so good.
It was so good.
It was so good.
It's so good. If you're not a Bucs fan, it's possible it might have been a little bit boring. Did it seem a little slow paced to you at all?
Yeah, but it's a setup show. Kind
Yeah,
of
it
like,
is.
not this kind of like they did such a big Game of Thrones like promo at the end. When they're running the credits, all they do is talk about the bunch of clips they were talking about Game of Thrones.
Uh-huh.
But let's face it, the first episode of Game of Thrones this year was slow. But
Yeah.
they had to, put everybody in their places and kind of like hash out their plans, and that's what it did. It was the introductory episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be getting a lot more actual, football games too as they come along.
Yeah.
From week to week. But I wouldn't call it boring, but I found it interesting. And every one of those plays that they showed,
Uh-huh.
I've already seen it practice, so I saw that live, and it was still
Right.
interesting to me.
Yeah, no, very, very interesting. So if you guys want to talk about the show, listen, we'll talk about anything you want. What'd you think about the show? Where'd it go? You guys can call in. Phone line is open right now, 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. You guys can call in. We'll talk about it. Phone line is open. I do only have one phone line, so if somebody's on the line, I'm going to delete your call, and you'll just have to call me back when the phone line clears. But would love to talk to anyone, everyone. We'll be here for about an hour or until the phone line stops ringing.
That's the way
Does that
we roll.
sound good? Mm-hmm. That sound good. All right. So while we wait on that, Ren, you kind of kicked it off. This is kind of the overall setting everything up. What did you think of just everything? What'd you think? What kind of things stood out to you, jumped out to you from Hard Knocks?
I thought there was a lot of John Gruden.
There's a lot of John Gruden. Yeah.
In the beginning, he went away, but like for the first half of the show,
Yeah.
I'm like, who's the coach of this team?
How many days was John around?
One.
Was it just one? It wasn't
One.
two. It wasn't like
No.
they had a press conference and then he was back another
Nope.
day.
Nope.
So all that was from one day.
One day when he
Yeah.
came in for his Ring of Honor ceremony press conference. I mean, you heard reports about him. He talked to the team for like an hour and a half. No, that's a lie. Him and Dirk Cutter were in the office talking ball for an hour and a half, and he did address the team at one point, the whole team. It was new where he was in the quarterback room. I'm gonna use up our F-bomb when he said stay in the fucking channel.
Right.
You're in the winning channel. Stay in it. And that was a great line by Cutter, after like he sort of walks away and the door closes and he goes,
Right.
yeah, that guy doesn't miss ball.
That guy doesn't miss ball.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting. There's a lot of people coming out saying how they think that Gruden is going to come back. He's going to be coaching here within the next couple of years, which may be true.
Who's saying that?
I think Scott Reynolds said that. I think Ira Kaufman has said that.
Come here. Not. I mean, there's a difference between like coaching the NFL, but they're saying he's going to be the coach of the Buccaneers.
No. That he's going to be back in coaching.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay.
Yeah, they think he's going to be back in coaching, but I don't know from what he said there, and it just might have been media speak that he was given. But he said, "I don't see myself getting back into coaching anytime soon." Now he did say anytime soon, so that's a little qualifier there. But
he seems to talk out of both sides of his mouth on that subject.
Yeah,
depending on who he's talking to. But you saw that clip in there, and Coach Cutter was right. Like that guy he makes his own game plans. He just doesn't have anybody to turn them into. He said that like he's designing playbooks for each team, but he doesn't get to coach them. The guy's coming back, and I would sort of agree with Scott Reynolds that as soon I think it's like 2 more years till his youngest graduates high school, and then what else is he going to do?
Right.
What's he got going on?
Right.
So. Yeah, I'm with that. I think he'll be back for
You think he'll be back?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think is he going to come back as a head coach, or do you think he's going to come back maybe in a coordinator position?
No.
Because if he's coming back as a head coach, he's not coming to the Bucs.
No.
We know that.
No, he will not take a coordinator position.
Right.
Some people are saying like he's going to be the first $10 million coach when he comes back. So he's definitely not going to be a coordinator. Not at all. Not a coordinator, not a QB guru, none of that stuff. Yeah.
No.
So
He'll be head coach.
Yeah.
Head coach. I did find it interesting. He said, "Hey, listen, I'm just down the street." Apparently, his office is in Tampa. Like, does he still live in Tampa?
Yeah, he still
that's
lives
cool.
in Tampa. He has the the Fired Head Coaches Association, or like the FHC.
Is that real?
Yeah, the FHCA or something. Yeah, it's right down the road. It's not too far from One Buck, and that's where Scott Reynolds got that interview for the Fab Five, talking about how he thought he was going to get back into coaching.
Yeah.
I've heard Ira Kaufman on his podcast say that he just stops over there sometimes, and he actually has to call him because there's a buzzer on the door, but the buzzer doesn't work. So Ira has to call him. He's like, "Hey, it's me, Ira." That's my Ira Kaufman. Thank you. I'm out front. Let me in, John. And and they let him in. But apparently, there's always coaches, passing through their unemployed coaches so they can look at film and talk ball and devise game plans and, sort of like, what am I going to do now?
All right. Well, I hear our first phone call calling in. Let's see who we got going on here.
Sweet.
Welcome to the PewterCast. You are on the line with Brent and Ren. Who do we got here with us tonight?
Well, this is your first international call speaking.
Javier. Is this Javier?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hola, mi amigo.
What's up, buddy?
Is it Spanish? It's Spanish you
I'm
speak
getting,
down there,
like,
not
a lot of
Portuguese, right?
interference.
Do what now?
What?
He's getting a lot of interference, he said.
You getting a lot of interference? Can you hear us?
I can hear you okay, but there's just like a lot of stopping and going.
Oh, yeah, the delay.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
we
good.
can hear you right. Yeah, that's probably actually a good thing, Javier. Just so you know, there is a little bit of a delay that comes in. So when you say what you say, just sit and chill. We'll
Give it a second or two.
Yeah, it just takes a second. Uh-oh.
And go.
Oh, think we lost him. That's all right. That's an international call. That was our first international call. We'll see if we can't
Successfully done.
We'll see if we can't get that figured out. We are welcome to everybody, by the way, who is in the chat room. We've got a lot of new people who have jumped on here in the chat room. Thank you guys for calling in. Sorry about that, Javier. We tested all of our gear. Everything was working, an hour ago.
Yeah.
But you never know. You might get a few bugs in the system. So hopefully we got everything sorted out. Anybody who wants to call in, the number is 864-729-BUCS. That's 864-729-2827. I think this is Javier calling back. Let's see if we can get him here in the line. Javier, are you back with us here, buddy?
Yep. Now can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear us?
Yep, perfect, man.
Very
How's everything
good.
going?
Very good. Well, hey, man, so what'd you think about Hard Knocks?
Well, I think it was mostly okay, but there were quite a few slow-paced periods. Like, for me, personally, I wouldn't have shown Jameis talking about cockroaches the first 10 minutes of the show.
Right.
That's just But hey, it was great. I had a lot of fun. I loved how Chucky just everywhere he goes, he steals the show. He goes for one day to Bucs facility, and he's shown over 10 minutes of the show.
Right.
This episode of Hard Knocks. Yeah. Hey, but that's our only winning head coach, Super Bowl winning head coach. So I had a lot of fun with that.
Yet he's our only Super Bowl winning head coach. Yet.
What I did found amazing, and I had no idea about this, is that we got an Uncle Snoop reference.
Yeah,
Right?
that was cool, wasn't it?
How about that? Jeremy McNichols calling Snoop Dogg Uncle Snoop?
Yeah. Yeah, and Snoop was his coach. Like, Snoop was his coach, like, in school. Like, I mean, I remember growing up with Snoop. You know, I remember when Snoop first came out and he dropped
He lived
Doggy
right
Style.
next door to Brent.
Yeah, not quite like that. You know, man, now he's coaching
Yeah, he coaches
one of our
little
players.
He
Yeah.
coaches little league football.
I know he's a diehard football fan, and he's also a diehard coach.
Yeah.
He has like this Snoop Dogg Academy there in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So that was great. I also really like the conversations between Jameis and Dirk. That felt really profound and deep.
yeah.
Like, you know, these two guys have a very intimate connection.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was really illuminating to hear that, to hear the conversations between them. You know, and even like when Dirk got on him, you know, and was kind of cussing him out and saying, "That's ridiculous! Don't you do that?" But he's also sitting there saying, "Listen, this is on you. You know, nobody else can lose us a game," is what he said. Right? He's like, "No one else can lose us a
touches
game."
the ball as much as you do. That's the line he used, and I wrote it down. I really like that one. I really hope they show, like, when Dirk has to be hard on Jameis and cuss him out. I remember on Saturday on a training camp practice, he threw like this really stupid interception, like where he just lobbed the ball up the air.
Yeah, that was
And
the one
I don't remember
they showed today. That short one that Hargraves picked off.
Yeah. So what you guys, let's make a quick reference about Saturday. What did you guys think about that? Wasn't that fun or what?
Hey, listen, you know, I said it, and you know, I'll say it again. What the stick carriers have evolved into, it to me is awesome. And I was a little sad that we didn't see it on tonight's episode. I'm not surprised though.
I was disappointed
I'm
as well.
I'm not surprised either. They have to build up to it.
Yeah. So
And I feel like they had to. If you saw what they showed, they showed a lot of things from previous OTAs. Like a lot of exposition, just so you guys are familiar with Joe McCoy, Jameis, Dexter Jackson, things like that.
right, and especially, and I mean, like, we're already familiar with those guys, but we're Bucs fans. You know, for people who aren't Bucs fans, who don't really know these guys, you know, and that can be a little bit of why they took us back to Jameis's hometown, and they had all of that. You know,
Yeah, they
Brent
wanted
was
to
saying
set up
earlier.
how humble he came from. So
Seven people sleep in the same room.
Yeah,
you
the
know.
20 people in the house, 3 people in the bed, lots of toes in the face. You know, the bathroom was always full, so the guys came out here and peed in the corner. You know, they sort of wanted to set up that, you know, this kid's worked hard his whole life to sort of get there.
Yeah.
So I liked that. I also, and tonight, speaking of the Dirk and Jameis relationship, this was the first time I've sort of seen or heard, like, Dirk get in his butt. You know, he did curse him out and say, you know, what the hell is that? And, you know, and the office conversation was much more, hey, man, you need to take care of the ball.
Right.
On the field during practice was, what the effing are you doing?
Right.
You know, it's like,
What-
that's crap. You need to
what
pull your
this
head out of
me-
your butt. Go ahead, Javier.
I know this is a PG show. Was it just me, or sometimes did they censor some words and sometimes they just let them air? Because I thought I heard a few curse words and then I heard a few bleeps in there. I don't know if it's just me.
I didn't hear any bleeps at all, but I definitely heard they definitely let some of them fly. I mean, this is HBO, so you know, everything can be R-rated on HBO. But yeah, I didn't hear them bleeping out. It might have been the players and the people speaking might have been censoring themselves a little bit. But yeah, I don't know that HBO censored themselves at all. So
I think we could all agree that Riley Bullock kind of stole this episode.
Yeah,
I mean, they showed him like he couldn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they said he's our third string Mike linebacker, which we're not going to keep that many. We're not going to keep that many. We're not going to go that deep. So unless he does something or shows himself in some other way, it's not going to, we're not going to keep this guy on the field or on the team come the 90-man cut down.
But the tone that Dirk used him in, used about him,
Yeah,
he's probably, if he doesn't make the cut, we're probably going to keep 6 linebackers. At least that's what I'm estimating.
Right.
And you add them up, and so he misses a cut, but he's going to be definitely around the facility, and they're going to try really hard to keep him on the practice squad.
Yeah, I think they'll do that. And I made the note. I was like, I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, Brent was very excited.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I had to Google him because I thought for a second when I heard Riley and I saw that, I thought about our former wide receiver, and I thought like, what are they showing him? But hey, I was completely wrong. It's Riley Bullock, number 49, and he got a nice airtime here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
he went to Michigan State. Just a little background on him. He went to Michigan State, as a linebacker. His dad was a linebacker for Michigan State. His uncle was a linebacker for Michigan State. So they got deep roots there. So that's like a football family. Obviously they're not the most athletic football family, or you'd heard of these guys. At least one of those people would have made it in the pros or made some impact. But he's got football running through his blood, and he's been coached up since birth. How to communicate, and I think that's what's really setting him apart as far as the other undrafted free agents. Is he understands that as his job as a Mike linebacker, that he has to run the defense, and he seems to be really stepping up to the plate on that third string.
Yeah. So I think we'll see. It's a new name to watch in camp, right? It's a new name for all of us as fans to even start
And he's
watching.
easy to pick out because of the hair. You don't really have to see the number.
Right, Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
So, all right, Javier, well, before I let you go, a scale of 1 to 10.
I just wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
From 1 to 10, I would say this is like a 7, but a 7 is a great number for a first episode.
Fair enough.
We just have to let the entire season go. And anyways, Brent, Ren, hey, I love talking with you. I'm sorry we couldn't meet on Saturday. I'll be back for the Giants and Patriots game. Until that game and until we meet again, please make that stadium loud. I want to hear you guys through my speakers. And, I'll continue to listen to your podcast as long as you keep them going.
There you go. Well, we'll keep doing them as long
Appreciate
as you keep
that, Javier.
listening, and I definitely promise you that I will do my part to get loud there on the stadium.
All
So,
right.
Javier, thanks for calling
I'll
in, man.
keep listening.
All right.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of popping in the mic line. I've been trying to track it down and figure out where it is. I'm
Is
not
that getting
sure.
picked up by everybody?
Yeah.
I think it has to do with the phone call.
It might be.
I
It's
think like
possible.
when it switches from his voice and sort of the
to
mic.
ours.
Yeah,
It might
to
be.
ours.
We're using a different system where we're in the mobile studio tonight.
Well, and Brent really
So-
came through. We had it was about 10 minutes till showtime, and there was one of the laptops was really acting up. The Surface Pad
Yeah, it's all jacked up.
was popping, like it was going boop, boop, boop all over the phone, and I kind of thought we were dead in the water, but since I have no idea what I'm doing, I just went over to go watch Hard Knocks. And Brent pulled out what is that? An iPad?
It's an iPad, yeah.
an iPad,
Yeah.
and that's what we're using instead of a laptop. And we're rolling with it. We're rolling with it.
Yeah, it's all good. Javier, thank you so much for your phone call. So if that's there, you guys forgive me. Otherwise, and we'll just keep going. So thanks. Hey, we got a ton of listeners, Ren.
Nice.
Who have signed into the chat room. So want to say hi to everybody who's been there, or everybody who's in there right now. You guys can call, and the phone line is open. The number is 864-729-BUCS. That's 864-729-2827. Call in. Let's talk about Hard Knocks. Let's talk about what you saw, what you didn't see, what you were hoping to see, maybe what you were surprised to see.
Did you know Jerry McCoy had twins?
I did.
I did not.
That's
I knew
not
he had
something.
kids.
Yeah, that's not something that's like top of my brain.
Yeah,
but I definitely know. Hey,
here
we got
go.
another call coming in.
I love those wind chimes.
Welcome to the Talking Knocks PewterCast Instant Cast. Who do we got talking to us here tonight?
Hey guys, this is Connor, and I gotta disagree with Javier because I've seen every Hard Knocks, and this has got to be one of the greatest episodes that they've aired.
Really? So here's the deal, Connor. This was my very first Hard Knocks episode. I had I've never seen one before. So to me, I have nothing to compare it. So go ahead, talk to us about that. Dive into that a little bit more. What made this so good?
Well, one of the greatest things is because Hard Knocks is all about stories, right? Well, we've dived into about 3 stories I can count. Jameis, McCoy, and I can't remember the middle linebacker, third string middle linebacker's name.
Bulla. Ryan Bulla?
Bulla, but
Riley
Bulla.
So that just means that we haven't even dived deep into anyone on our team. Like, we just have so many characters. Like, they've skimmed the surface. They kind of teased it on the, before trailer. But I'm just looking so forward to the rest of the season. Like, I'm so pumped.
Yeah, it's for me as a fan, and I think this is probably doing the same thing for every other fan. It's just making us that much more excited to get to the season, to get to see our players. Because you're right, like they showed like one thing with Quan, right? Like just when Jameis was greeting him in the locker room, it's the only thing we saw out of Quan.
Yeah, no Quan.
Exactly. That was, and then we saw a little bit, like just a little bit of David and Brent Grimes and his wife got teased in the next episode, so I'm sure that's going to be good. I'm telling you guys, this is definitely one of the best Hard Knocks that's ever going to be aired.
Are you a little biased there, Connor?
Oh, I'm so biased.
All right,
I'm
then.
so biased, but I literally have watched every single Hard Knocks, and I don't think, like, the thing is that some of them can sustain entertainment for, maybe a quarter or maybe 2 episodes in, but I feel like we have enough entertainment to sustain the whole season, and it's just going to elevate the Bucs into the whole consciousness of the whole NFL, and it's just going to be great for us. And that's really all I got to say. And one more thing is, you guys got to start promoting yourself more. Like, tell your Twitter handles, because it's hard to find you guys. And that's all I got to say.
All right, that's fair. I actually run the Hard Knocks Twitter handle, but I know. But I just switched phones, and I don't have it on my new phone. And my old phone, the Wi-Fi that we are logged in here is
no
premium.
Excuse, man. The people want to hear you, man. Get your Twitter out there, all right?
The people are demanding it,
guys.
Ren. The people are demanding it. Yeah, we've got
I love your class. We love it.
Hey, thanks so much. We pimp it a lot on the main episodes. For sure, but in some of these other ones, I guess we don't talk. So, hey, listen, let's do that right now. You guys can follow us at the PewterCast, or for this show, at Talking Knox, both on Twitter. You can catch us on Facebook.com/PewterCast. Hit us up on email, thepewtercast@gmail.com. So you guys can do all that. We definitely need to do a better job. We need like a marketing department, Ren, during the week, leading into the, I guess that's me, actually. That's us. The marketing.
Isn't there some app out there where you can just like plug in a couple tweets and they'll tweet it? You can just set the time.
Oh, we use it. Oh, I use it.
Oh, really?
Hootsuite. Yeah, Hootsuite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Hootsuite. So it's good stuff. So Javier says in the chat room, I just throw this in there, Doug Martin has a killer moonwalk.
He does have a killer moonwalk.
Yeah. So hey, listen.
That's why they picked him to be sort of.
He's the sweeper.
Yeah, that's a throwback to the Apollo. What was that guy? Smokey, I think it is in the Apollo, when he comes out and then like everyone boos and they do the siren and Smokey comes with the hook and Showtime at the Apollo.
Is that what that's from?
I think so.
I didn't catch that reference, but that's funny. Yes, that's it right there. Hey guys, listen, phone line is open. The number is 864-729-BUCS. It's 864-729-2827. Connor, thank you so much for calling in, by the way. I didn't get to say thank you for that.
Is he in the chat room?
I don't know. He's I don't know that he's.
If he is, I would like to know where he's from. I kind of want to know where everyone calls in and let us know where you're from. I want to know.
He had a 727 number, so isn't that like Pinellas County?
St. Pete.
Clearwater, somewhere around there, Largo.
I can meet up with Connor.
Yeah, I could tell you his number. I could broadcast his number live right now.
Let's not do that.
I'm not going to do that. Connor, thank you for calling in. And you know what he said? He's like, your people demand more. Let us know what's out there. So we got to do better at that.
If you have a problem with the PewterCast Twitter feed,
send all emails to Brent at thepewtercast.com. We need a website. That's the big thing, Ren. We need a website.
No, we
This
don't.
is not about us and our marketing stuff. This is about Hard Knocks. Let's talk about that. Hey, we got Kevin Sloan. Hey, real quick. I'm sorry. We'll talk about this later. It's all right. Hard Knocks. So let's talk about that. The hazing. So in our last episode, we talked about
Brent's
the top.
favorite subject.
Yeah, we talked about the top 3 things that we wanted to see on Hard Knocks, and one of the things that I picked
Was
Was
deadly
rookie
Ori
hazing.
Selman in the cryotube. And then it was rookie hazing. Brent was
not-
having a bad day.
Let's not go there. I'm at Disney. This is awesome. But no, rookie hazing.
Okay.
I did not expect rookie hazing to come in the form from the coach in front of the entire team in the auditorium.
Yeah. That was when Justin Evans, he was reading off his phone.
Do you think he was purposely trying to be bad?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't. I just think that was probably one of the first times he's ever spoke publicly in front of peers, I guess. I'm sure he's done plenty of interviews, but he doesn't seem like one of those guys that sings in the shower.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
this was probably...
I think Justin Evans, he strikes me as a more introverted kind of guy.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I could be wrong about that,
No,
but he
because-
strikes me as a more introverted
Because they
kind
have
of guy.
talked about how he needs to speak up and communicate
Yeah.
more in the back. That was like
Yeah.
the first thing that came out of
And I mean,
OTAs.
even like I watched him a bit, you know, and I mean, there's only so much you can get from being, 60 yards away, kind of
Right.
watching him on the field. But from everything I say, just whatever, he strikes me as a little more of an introverted guy, and nothing wrong with that. But I know that can it does not make usually for a comfortable public speaking.
For
type
singing
of-
in
type
front
of person.
singing in front of
Yes.
90 of your teammates and your coaches.
Yeah,
The team
so-
you're trying to
But I
make.
got to tell you, so if it was me up there right now, because I can't sing, I couldn't carry a tune in a
Yes,
bucket.
this is what everyone wants to hear. Brent, what would you do
No.
if you were Rookie Hayes?
I'm-
What song would you pick?
What song would I pick?
True Colors by Cyndi Lauper.
No, it'd probably be a Need to Breathe song.
I don't even
It
know
might
who
be a
that
Snoop
is.
Dogg song. Let's do that.
Okay. We'll do it.
What's my name? No, God, I don't know. What song would you pick?
Oh, I'd have to think about it. I'm pretty retarded when it comes to music.
Please, somebody call in and talk to us about Hard Knocks. 864-729-BUCS. It's 864-729.
Remember when we were
2827.
talking about we were doing the top 3, and I said we should keep track of how many photo bombs the media guys get?
Oh, yeah.
I've got Gary Shelton winning at 2.
Gary Shelton at 2.
But I do want to give a shout out to Rick Stroud because he did have sort of like
Rick Stroud got a nameplate on the show
Yeah.
when they were at Dexter Jackson. Shit.
you love.
I got
doing
I
that.
have to start like doing push-ups every time I call him the wrong name. When they were at Deshaun Jackson's house, he got a lower third. His nameplate got dropped.
assisted push-ups.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rick Stroud's sandals, by the way. Those were terrible. I just want.
How did we start talking about Rick Stroud's sandals?
I brought that whole thing up just so I could say how bad his sandals were.
Wow.
But yeah.
Ren's looking at his notebook. What else do we want to talk about
What
here?
happened?
What else do we want to talk about? So yeah, we already talked about how Gruden, he took up like half the episode. Deshaun Jackson.
Dexter Jackson?
No, Deshaun took up like 15 minutes of this episode.
Yeah.
Like with his story and him coming to Tampa Bay. And I got to tell you,
Big
I
new
was
name coming to town.
Yeah, big new name, real big new name. I was excited to have Deshaun Jackson join this team this year. My excitement for that guy is through the roof right now after seeing what they had about him on Hard Knocks for that. And they devoted a lot of time to him.
Yeah, they did.
But with what him and Mike Evans could be, what'd you think about all that? Just the kind of the backstory with Deshaun getting into the organization and because man, he seems to be. I know from what we've seen. You've been at training camp every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I have been there for 2 days. He seems to be lighting up training camp for sure. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it was. I want to start off with that was a hell of a compliment he paid to Mike Evans. When they're sitting next to each other in the auditorium room.
Yeah,
And he said, like, I've played with a lot of receivers, but this is the guy. Like, no offense to these guys I've played with, but he's the sort of. I don't know if he said the best hands down, but he definitely implied it. And I think this is something we're going to get from Hard Knocks. Like, we're going to get probably a 15-minute bio on a big name. We got a little bit of Gerald. Like, we're going to get one on. We're going to get one on Quan. Of course, we're going to get one on Evans. It looks like they're doing, Godwin next and Grimes next episode. So, so as far as his sort of segment on the show, I'm not. That's probably the least thing I'm looking for is sort of a look back into their family life, like how they are, like
Right.
This is the house I live in. These
Right.
are my children. This is my wife. I'm happy to be here. Like that, I don't care. The stuff that I really liked, which you sort of brought up, was when you kept looking for the mini Lombardi in Dirk Cutter's office.
I did.
You did.
Okay, so just to paint this picture, Ren is over. He is
Sweaty
all of like.
balls.
Okay, awesome. He is all of like 3 feet away from the TV.
We're in
here
the lobby.
Yeah, we're here in the lobby.
Don't try to bother anybody.
And so, and it's the way they just have the chairs and stuff. It's kind of set up in a weird spot. It's a little tight in there. And I'm sitting kind of like catty corner behind Ren. Mm-hmm. And they start showing Dirk Cutter's office.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, where's the mini Lombardi? And like, I'm like standing up, like leaning over Ren.
Yes.
Not realizing how much I am invading his personal space.
And I am a personal space type of guy, by the way. And that was fine. If you want to go up there and look and see if you can see the mini Lombardi, that's great. But you didn't leave.
It's because they didn't get off the thing. I was still...
Yeah.
And Ren turns around, he's like, you want to back up a little bit there, Brent?
You want to give me a little space there, Brent, buddy?
Atlanta Bucks fan Dan says he didn't see the trophy either. Thanks for looking out.
I appreciate it.
I'm absolutely looking out. It's
Yeah, Brent jumped out of his chair and deposited his sweaty balls on my shoulder for a good 3 minutes.
Let me tell you what. I was at the Magic Kingdom for like 12 hours today.
Yeah. I could
That is
smell
not
it.
an inaccurate description. Let's move off of that subject. Please, somebody call in.
Well, you wanted to talk about the video board, how you thought that was cool, how they
in
they
his
blurred
office?
it out.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what
yeah.
about like today at the press conference? He's like, I spent like 19 seconds filling out that depth chart, and then they did this clip after clip after clip
Of him, like in different clothes.
In
So
different
that's,
clothes, in front of
supposedly different days,
Yes,
right?
yeah. Standing.
Although I would say
in
it
front
could
of
be
that
like
depth chart.
in the morning and then after practice. He
could
may
be,
change clothes,
yeah.
whatever. But yeah, so what do you guys think? He talked about he spent about 19 seconds putting the depth chart together when what we actually physically saw in Hard Knocks
He
seemed
spends
a lot
He
longer
spends a lot
staring
of
at that
time.
depth chart. Okay, so let's move on to that because what we really got into looking at that video board, which I did notice they had blurred it out, so
Yeah.
you can't like zoom in and see who.
See if
who
there's a
he
Lombardi
has.
trophy somewhere on
Yeah,
the
you're not going
video
to do
board.
that either. Can you enhance section C14?
Clear that up.
Yeah,
Enhance?
yeah, you can't really
Enhance?
do that in real life. That's just
Enhance?
a TV thing.
Really? You can't do that?
No, that's
Not
just a
even the
TV
government?
thing. No. You can't enhance something unless it's there to be enhanced. Like, if that makes sense, you don't fill in missing gaps. It doesn't work like that.
Then
Yeah.
what's the concept of a coloring book?
It's not the same thing.
Okay.
Moving on, we're losing listeners here. No, that's not true. Actually, you guys are great. We have a pretty good amount of listeners. The Javier
video
is talking
board.
about the video montage, saying the passing time was great. Different shots in Dirk's office, but so they bleeded that out. But then we got into seeing a couple guys get cut.
Right.
Like first, and it was like he didn't even make it to the end of the first week.
Oh,
You know?
Evan Pan. I know that would have been
Yeah,
so
Evan
fun to
Panfield.
watch Evan Panfield go against Evan Panful or Panfee.
Kevin
I-
Kevon Pamfi.
Kevon Pemphy. Yeah.
So I think part of the PewterCast drinking game should be every time Ren pronounces a name weird.
Like Dexter Jackson.
No, not mispronounce.
Oh, okay.
like what
Make
was
it
it?
my own.
Brian Unger.
Brian Unger. I'm still like, I don't even realize I do it. I just like it. I read his name and I want to call him Unger, not Anger. So I do
get
it all
that.
the time and I don't even realize it.
I get that.
So anytime I just make a pronunciation up for one of the players, it's a drink. That's a drink. It should be a shot because I don't do it that often.
Hey, you know what? Let's talk about those guys getting cut. So Evan Pamphil, or Panfil, or whatever his name was, he got cut. And then Spurback, Thomas Spurback, he got cut.
He was a Boise State wide receiver.
Yeah, and then I forget who the other guy was.
Alex Gary,
Yeah, that's right.
safety.
That's why I forget who he was.
Was
So,
not gonna make the team.
but I mean, Cutter, what'd you think about that? Cutter sitting there saying, "Hey, listen, you did nothing wrong. This is an elite level, and you're close." But don't let the door hit you on the way out, because we saw him with Jason Light before he did that.
Right.
Kind of talking this, and then he goes, "Hey, let's go. Hey, we got a guy calling in. Let's take that call."
Or girl.
Or girl. This could be a girl, maybe not. Yeah, you are on with Brent and Ren for Talking Knocks, talking about the Hard Knocks show. Who do we got here with us today?
Hey, man, it's Gary.
Gary,
And,
what's up? Gary, where are you calling from?
I'm coming from Plant City, and I just want to say the Dirk Coder meeting with Jameis, I feel like he didn't answer Jameis's question, because I feel like Jameis was asking what he can do in practice. And Coder just answered like the whole thing, like in the game, and I think he was just asking how far can he go in practice with these motherfuckers. Excuse me. Oh, all right.
It's all right, man.
That's all right.
We're good.
I'm sorry. And I'll just take it off the air.
No, dude, you're good. You're good. Oh, we lost him. Oh, he got off. No. Kevin?
If you curse, you don't have to hang up.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
Calls back.
we're all
Calls
adults
back.
here.
Let's have a conversation
we're
about that.
just
It's really
saying-
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not prudes, and the FAA isn't coming after you.
Right.
We just let people know that it's we're not a fuckity fuck show.
You just took our PG-13 rating.
I did.
For like the next 4 episodes.
Well, I just
but
wanted
it's
to
okay.
let people know that
It's okay. That may have to be edited out when we put it out. But for all you guys in the chat room right now, if you're like under 13, you should be in bed at this point. But to say that, that's actually real interesting. I kind of wish you would have stayed with us because I wanted to dive into that because I don't actually remember that. I don't remember exactly what Jameis said and exactly what Cutter said, but I find that interesting. What do you do when you're a player and you ask your coach a question and they don't actually answer your question?
Yeah, it was a little bit of misunderstanding where, Jameis was talking about how he doesn't really know, sometimes he doesn't know the down and distance. And Cutter was like, yeah, I can help you do that during the game. And he's like, no, I don't want you to. He's like, it's something that I need to work on. But it was a little bit of a disconnect there. I agree, it was a sort of strange conversation, especially to put in there for like their first exchange.
Like on the show.
Yeah, it was their first exchange on the show. It was like, hey, they're not connecting. So, but,
And then they end, like the last exchange that we saw really between Cutter and Jameis was Cutter ripping Jameis a new one on the field in front of everybody.
Yeah, they're building a discord between the two for TV.
Ooh, damn it, HBO.
But that was a great ending. Like they started with Jameis, then ending with Jameis about getting up early. I didn't know about how he woke up every day to like a recording of a motivational speaker.
That's cool. All right, so what do you think about your quarterback being a guy who so I don't listen to music a whole lot anymore. I'm mostly podcast and audiobooks and stuff myself. But I don't listen to motivational speakers. I mean, I may listen to speakers. I may listen to guys that are talking on topics I like, but I don't do motivational speakers a whole lot.
Yeah.
I may have to try that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I might come out better.
It was a really good ending, and I wish they would have stayed dark a little longer. They finished with the motivational speaker, and James is up and it's dark, and he's the only one in the weight room type of deal. I wish when they, faded to black, they would have kept it there a little longer. But they're going into the credits and stuff. But
and that was something.
I'm dead. There. Wait. Hello.
Oh, hey, that's our headphones going out. That's all right. But that was something that our as Bucs fans, we know because we hear about it all the time that when Dirk Cutter shows up at 5:30 in the morning, Jameis is already there. Right. Like we hear that all the time. Right.
Yeah.
But
we haven't seen Quan do that yet, but we will.
Not on the show.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Well,
not
in
on
real
the
life
show.
either. I haven't seen him do it in real life either.
You're there at 5:30 in the morning
I have
to
not
check.
seen him do that. I have not.
So he could be. But so we knew that, but they didn't actually explain that in the show for the rest of the watching world who doesn't actually like you. We
They showed
saw
a
that.
clock. They showed a clock.
Oh, did they?
When
I
it was
missed
in the
that.
locker room.
Okay.
It was like 5. I want to say 5:38 or 5:58.
Wow.
It was before 6.
Yeah.
And he was already in the locker room praying. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Go Jameis. That's fun. So Jameis, man, getting some. Certainly, it was Jameis. This was the Jameis episode.
It was,
and
well,
they should be.
they started and ended with it, yeah, and they're building the relationship between the coach and the quarterback. And not to sort of get off that topic, but I just want to get this out here because I think I'm going to forget about it. Is how cool is Dirk Cutter got a Pat Tillman jersey in his office?
Yeah, they were just talking about that in the the chat room a few minutes ago. Yeah, that's really. I mean, I remember when they put that up. Like, I think that if I remember right, that was a gift that came to him last year.
I don't know,
or sometime, or they put it. There was an article, maybe I don't know. Greg Allman wrote about it, or somebody wrote about it somewhere. I've heard about the Pat Tillman jersey.
I've heard about Pat Tillman jersey, but I didn't know Cutter had one.
Yeah, the Tillman. I had heard that. Hey, if anybody out there knows where that story is or where that came from, let us know. I'm just curious at this point. But yeah, he had the Pat Tillman jersey. He had some of the stuff I noticed in his office because I was looking for something else, but I still noticed the other things. He had the current Buccaneers helmet. He had the creamsicle helmet, the Bucco Bruce helmet. And then I think he had some helmets from the various colleges he's coached at over the years.
Coached and played at.
Yeah. And then the Pat Tillman jersey certainly was also there. Hey, we got a question. GP76 Tampa asks us if we think that they're going to highlight Quan next week.
It's coming.
I don't think it's next week.
Yeah, it might not. They might want to get at least... Yeah, they want to get some game film on him. Because he's really been talking about, remember that quote tweet? He's like, I'm going to try to be breaking face masks every time I hit somebody.
Yeah.
So I would probably, it's going to be later in there where we can get a lot of roll on him. And then the most he's going to play is game 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I would look for the Hard Knocks after preseason game 3 for the big Quan story.
Interesting.
If I'm planning it out.
Yeah, because we talked about this a little bit earlier, just based on the next time on... the next time on, what we saw really was the Grimes and Godwin.
Right.
Were the ones that were highlighted there. So that's I think who we kind of expect to see next week a little bit in that. So and he also asked, Coach, did Cutter coach at Arizona State while Tillman was there? I think the answer to that is yes.
I don't know.
I think the answer is yes, and that's a part of why he has that jersey in his office.
I know he coached at Arizona State. I don't know if Tillman was under him, but it's around about the same time.
Yeah.
So I'll look that up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that was interesting. So let's hear, what all did we cover? We covered him cutting people. We covered the hazing. We covered Riley Bulla. Nobody knows who the hell he is, but we sure do now. So we'll be watching him. You knew, yeah, whatever. Whatever.
He gets so jealous.
Gerald
when I know
McCoy.
something he doesn't.
So Gerald, I want to talk about this because I think I mentioned this on
the main show.
No, not the main show. On Training Camp Journals with Ren Daxt. Episode 7 or 8, whichever one I was on. It was one of the two. But we started talking a little bit about Gerald McCoy actually carrying off other guys.
You're on 2
pads. I was on 2. Yeah. It was either 7 or 8. I was on 2 episodes.
That's correct.
So, like I had mentioned then, I was like, I have an idea why he's doing it. It just, and I think I'm probably pretty close to right, but I didn't want to assign.
And I
motive.
disagreed. I thought he was doing it as a joke, as he was hiding them from the rookies that actually had to carry them in.
Right.
Was my take. Which
is a whole lot more funny, by the way.
But you were right.
Right. Was that it's that idea. And I love the quote that he said. He said, you can't lead until you serve.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis
says stuff similar to that.
Yeah. So, he just says it's something he's kind of always done. So I love that. I love that out of Gerald McCoy. I love that's guy. But, he really does do that. Like, we only saw him in this one taking helmets in because they didn't have pads on yet.
Right.
But what we did, they were in full pads. And while I was there, they were in full pads. And he got done with practice. He went in, he did all his signing and his meet and greets and everything after that. And then he picked up the gear and walked back to the
He even
locker room.
carried the gear like all the way from, not like it's a tremendous amount of distance, but he picked the gear up and walked it to the mesh fence where everybody signs and dropped them there and then went in the stands and signed. Mm-hmm. So it was sort of showing that he's wherever he went, he took them. It's not like he put them in a pile and then went and did about his business, like an interview and signing and talked to this person.
Maybe they'd be gone by the time he got back.
And then, and then he just carried them from the spot. He put them everywhere he went. He takes them with him.
Sure.
Yeah. I think I've heard Jameis say a lot. You have to sacrifice first before you're a leader, or leadership equals sacrifice.
Yep.
And then,
that's true.
Yeah, and then McCoy was you have to serve before you can lead. So those guys seem to be on the same page, at least leading the team-wise. We haven't talked about Anthony Auclair and his "O Canada" rendition.
Well, first of all, let's back up. Let's talk about Anthony Auclair along with Cam Brate and Adam Humphries and seems like a couple other guys getting real sweaty up in the yoga room.
Oh, Jesus.
Those guys are doing some like downward dog.
Like, what is this, 1984 Top Gun volleyball scene?
That's what it... Oh, my gosh.
I was like, what is
See Val
this?
Kilmer coming up, spinning the ball on his finger.
Yeah. Listen to Howl and Roar. That's my Kenny Loggins. Highway to the Danger Zone.
I'm going to make you get up there and sing in front of these. That's your song. That's what you would sing right there.
You know what?
Danger
If
Zone.
you can get me into $1 into the auditorium room, I will stand up and sing.
In front of the entire team.
Yeah.
And let Doug Martin come and sweep you off the thing.
Doug Martin would get anywhere near me. First off, I'm way too quick for that guy. He's in socks on a very slippery floor. And, I may be in my mid-40s.
Let's go on record. Somebody please tweet this out. Ren Dax just said he's way too quick for Doug Martin.
In socks on the gym floor, if he's in socks. And I got to be heavily taped in the ankles
To be fair,
and knees.
I have no clue how fast you are. I've never seen you run.
I was the greatest athlete ever. No, I was a really good athlete when I was younger. I used to play basketball and ride my bike probably till my mid-30s. And then I don't know what really would happen, and I quit. And then one day I tried to jog somewhere, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's over with. Like, yeah, no more. There's no more athlete in me gone. It's all gone, I don't have a problem.
I think we're going to follow Connor's advice. We're going to put something out on social media where we're going to show you racing something.
Like a turtle?
Like
A
me
blade,
in a car going 10 miles an hour.
I could win that. A blade of grass going down the curb in the rain.
Maybe Jameis cartwheeling down the field.
I could probably win that too.
We'll see what you do. All right. Anyway, but you were wanted to talk about Anthony Auclair singing. Oh Canada, oh Canada.
I did. I just wanted to bring it up, and then we switched it quickly to
yoga.
Yoga days,
Right.
like hot yoga,
Right.
Hot yoga with the white guys.
By the way, I think it's hilarious that he sung the Canadian national anthem, and Jameis Jameis was the first to his feet. Yeah, he did it in French. Jameis was first to his feet with his hand over his heart, and he's looking around like, y'all don't leave me standing here. y'all better stand up too.
Yeah, Jameis seemed to lead that whole Ricky Hazing thing. Like when Riley Bullough went up there and started, and he had a pretty good voice, and Jameis was like, so taken, his overreaction, being taken aback. But I bet that was a fun day to, because they've got, 6 draft picks, and I think they signed close to 20 undrafted free agents. That was a good day. That's like 26 guys going up there and embarrassing, but. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for anyone who's out there in the chat room, we are getting close to our 1 hour limit. So kind of putting this out there, if anyone else wants to call in, now is really the time. The number is 864-729-BUCS. That's 864-729-2827. So we've covered quite a bit of the show, kind of rehashing a lot of what we saw going on there. Let's as we kind of wrap this up, let's talk about what didn't get shown. They talked about earlier on the Hard Knocks guys. They said that for every hour that they show, there's about 300 hours of film or 350 hours of film that's just sitting on the cutting room floor.
Right.
So what do you think didn't get shown for this week? Obviously they'll be showing stuff later, but what didn't get shown for this week?
299 hours of boring stuff. I mean, do the math, Brent.
Anything else? I mean, no, but I
don't know. There's probably a lot of practice roll. I'm sure there's a lot of mic'd up stuff because they mic up about 7 to 9 players a practice. So a lot of that stuff. A lot of those static cameras that are just sitting in the room, like the quarterback room. The camera's just like in the corner. Dirk Cutter's office. Like those things are just rolling all the time. So you got to think like when they're going, well, it's like 300 hours, but like you got 8 cameras rolling 24 hours. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that takes a big chunk out of it.
yeah.
But I don't know. I'd have to honestly see the whole entire series before I could say what I think didn't make, what they missed. I don't think they missed anything. They're just trying to build a narrative, and it seemed like this narrative was there's friction between Jameis and Dirk.
Friction? Oh, it could be. That could be. That could be what they're trying to say. Let's hear. Atlanta Bucs fan Dan says Robert Ayers looking and talking into the camera.
There you go.
They didn't show any of that.
And thanks for listening to that podcast there.
Yeah. So what was this? Was this the premiere episode of Talking Knox that we talked about this?
No, that was with Trevor. He told us that
it was
story.
With Trevor. Yeah, with Trevor. So that would be episode 41.
Mm-hmm.
You guys go listen to that. That's main episode 41. By the way, that's that episode's still blowing up. Like it's still getting several downloads every day, which is very cool. Usually it's tapered off quite a bit by now, but
I got to tell you my Robert Ayers story from today from practice when you're done.
All right, well let's do that. But what Trevor said, for those of you guys who may not have heard that, was that they told the guys, the players, just pretend like the cameras aren't even there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not there to interact with you. This is not the real world where you're going to do some sort of confessional or anything like that. Like just. They're flies on the wall. That's all they are.
They do not exist.
They do not exist. So Robert Ayers has taken it upon himself that every time he sees a Hard Knocks camera, he looks straight into the camera, points at it, and says, "Buccaneers 2017 on Hard Knocks, baby, woo!"
And then runs out of the room.
And then runs away. And so what we debated was, is that going to become the running joke that Hard Knocks is going to have, or are they just going to let it ruin the shot, basically?
Yeah, roll their eyes and be, damn it, Ayers.
So, which I kind of like the second one, but I really want to see them turn it into a running joke. And
I do too.
They didn't do it yet.
No.
They didn't do it yet.
Who knows? Maybe when Robert Ayers gets his sort of like 10, 15 minutes on the show, which I think he will, that might be, they might do a little montage. Remember how they did the montage of Dirk at the board, at the depth chart board? Just see a montage of just Robert Ayers ruining shot after shot after shot after shot. You know how I've talked about quite a few times, actually. Well, maybe 3 or 4, 2. About how Robert Ayers and I got into that battle on Twitter about Batman being a real superhero, and that was the same show I told.
I've heard that about 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. So when I told that same show with Trevor, I talked about how, here's a good Robert Ayers story about how I said, either Batman's a superhero or your orange McLaren is Gator orange, not Tennessee orange.
Okay.
And he went with Gator orange.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of practice today, I'm just like walking down. I just call it the VIP section, the suite holder section, and there's Robert Ayers. I mean, like from me to you, like there's no fence, there's no nothing, and
which for the listeners out there is all of like 3 feet.
Yeah. No, like I could have kicked him in the shin. Like I mean, he was talking to somebody, and it was after practice, and he was kind of sort of getting in the building, but not all of them sort of like use that tunnel where the mesh fence sort of keeps the crowd away. Sometimes they just kind of step over and walk up. Mm-hmm. And so I take out my camera, I start filming, I sort of give him a nod, and he hear him as he's walking by. He's like, "What's up?" And then he goes in the building. But what I wanted to do was sort of bring up who I was. Like, I'd bring up that question again. Like, have the camera on him. Hey, Robert, Batman's a superhero, or you have a Gator Orange McLaren 1.
Would you rather?
And he would have known, like, because he would have known, because it was a good, like, probably 5 or 6 exchange on Twitter about his McLaren, which I called a Lambo for the first couple times, and he's like, bro, it's a McLaren. And I'm like, well, sorry, man. Last time I went supercar shopping, it's been a hot minute. But I chickened out. I couldn't do it.
Oh,
no,
chicken out.
Well, he's bigger than me.
He could invert your face.
Yeah, and he had cleats on. He was not wearing socks, and it was on a gym floor. So, like, I was definitely at a disadvantage.
I believe the technical phrase there is "you got punked out."
Yeah. Well, I don't like that word so much, especially when it pertains to me. So, I'm gonna say I respected his opinion and didn't want to open up sore wounds.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we got final few minutes here. Absolute last call. Anyone who wants to call in and keep the show going. Otherwise, we're going to wrap the show here in just a minute. 864. This is for Javier. 864-729-BUCS.
What is that?
He said he wanted me to sing our number to that Tommy Two-Tone Jenny song.
I don't know what the Tommy Two-Tone Jenny. I told you I'm retarded.
864-729-BUCS. I'll play. You know that song.
8675309.
Yeah, that song.
Okay.
That song. But I'm doing our number. But Atlanta Bucs fan Dan and actually Javier just mentioned something about it. No kickers. Nothing about the kicker battle.
Well,
in
they
this
did
episode.
tease it though. They teased it at the end.
They did.
They did.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah, Brent was over here setting up during like the last two minutes, or 30
Yeah.
seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
So
He's getting the show turned on.
yeah, he was getting ready, saying hi to all you in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So they did tease it.
They did tease it, so we're
Okay.
definitely going to see it. And,
Okay.
they talked about it. Not only was it just a picture of the kickers, it was
Yeah.
like which kicker is going to prevail, or
Yeah, because that, the kicker battle is something that has a little bit of a carryover from last season.
Oh yeah,
Like you kind of have to know the storyline of what happened from the draft last year and through last season to really appreciate what's happening with the kicker battle today.
it's going to bring up all those open sores because they're going to show highlights of Aguayo missing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, really? They are,
They
aren't
have
they?
to be able to
Yeah.
set it up. Like, this guy was drafted in the second round. Why is this bald-headed freak here in camp if this guy's so good? So they got to set it up where they show. Not that Nick Folt's a freak, but I'm just teasing. They're going to have to show him miss kick after kick after kick and talk about how he was the worst percentage kicker last year in the NFL. So get ready for that, Buck fans.
Yeah. So that shit, guys. I think that's going to kind of go ahead and wrap us up for this episode, Ren.
Yeah.
We'll put that one in the books. I want to say thank you to everybody who jumped into the chat room and listened. I will say this: we had more people listening to this than we've ever had. No, that's not true. It's been close. It got close. It got up there. We had quite a few people listening. And
nice crowd
live,
for Instacast.
and we're going to have a lot more that are going to listen back to the podcast. This will release on the PewterCast, all the PewterCast lines, for the main episode. So, for the main podcast that we have there. So, with that, Ren, a couple things the folks out there can still check out. We've got the daily updates coming out from you, Ren Dax's training camp journal.
Correct.
So be on the lookout for that. Today's has not gone up yet.
That is correct. It will be up soon to never.
Pretty much when we get done working with this, we'll go ahead and
And by we, it's Brent.
yeah. So we'll probably have these two episodes released like simultaneously tonight. So hey, good news to everybody out there. You'll be able to listen to both. But you have that coming up. We've got coming up after the game on Friday. We got our first preseason game this Friday in Cincinnati.
Same format.
And it will be right here at the mixler.com/the PewterCast. That'll be our instant cast. So you guys who are listening, you guys make sure you all come back. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about what you saw.
We'll have more to talk about.
This is actually one of the instant cast show might, truth be told, might be my favorite show.
Why is that?
Because I get to talk to the fans. I get to talk to my fellow Bucs fans about the game. Like kind of in a real raw setting, because
Right.
that's like still a raw
It's
emotion.
still an open nerve.
Yeah. So we'll do that, but then we also have episode 42, which will be coming out on Monday, a week from Monday. Oh, it'll be coming out on Tuesday. Actually, we'll record it Monday night. So we'll have that, but we still have Ren's training camp diary coming out anytime that there's a training camp that you can get to anyway. And
Are you going to announce, or is it going to happen, about the special guest appearances for the training camp diary?
No, we'll just let it happen.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just teasing that to nobody.
Yeah, we've got some special guest appearances coming up on training camp diary. So journal, whatever that is. So we'll do that. But then we've got we've got the main episode, instant cast, and then we've got Talking Knocks coming back next Tuesday night. Same time, same channel. You guys make sure you join us. Thank you guys so much for jumping in. I really appreciate you guys. Fun conversations happening in the chat room. It's kind of an exclusive club members for the people who jump in. It doesn't cost you anything. You
Is
just
that
jump
Robert
in.
Ayers in the chat room?
It might be. He might be. There's somebody in the chat room right named the Little Puppet.
Really?
That could be Robert Ayers.
Or Aguayo.
Could be Aguayo.
Or Pinocchio.
Or it could be Jim.
Jim.
Jim, who lives on 5th Street.
Oh, Jim, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in St. Pete. So, it could be him.
Could be.
Could be. So, hey, guys.
What's up, Jim?
Hey, guys, thanks so much for joining us. I think that's going to do it for us. You guys have a great night. Say goodnight, Ren.
Good night, everyone. I'm jumping in my car, and I'm driving back to St. Pete, and I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to wake up, and I'll be at training camp tomorrow. I'll be tweeting out some, and then, of course, the journal will come back up sometime tomorrow as well.
I'm going to go upstairs to the hotel room, go to bed, and I'm going back to Disney World tomorrow.
After you get the 2 shows out.
After I get the 2 shows out. That's very true. All right, guys. You all have a great night. We're out of here.
Thanks.
Peace.